She and Putin, for all of their sins, don't deny the human reality of marriage.
All right, up next, friend of the show, Michael Knowles, the Daily Wire host, recently said that President Biden is worse than Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping because he supports LGBT rights. Yes, seriously. Not making this one up, not taking it out of context. Listen to yourself for what he had to say.
Xi and Putin have done terrible things, but for all of their sins, they don't pretend that men can become women. Xi and Putin, for all of their sins, don't deny the human reality of marriage. Xi and Putin, for all of their sins, don't force weird sex stuff on little kids in elementary schools. When the Biden administration insists that men can become women, when it enforces such a lie in classroom curricula, in official pronouncements, in the law, in the state-affiliated media, it undermines people's liberty. When the Biden administration encourages vice, the free flow of drugs across our southern border, the legalization of drugs within the United States, the destruction of the family, promiscuous sex, ubiquitous porn, abortion, and all of the other vices that Biden and our liberal elite exalt as positive goods, that constitutes an attack on our will and therefore an attack on our liberty.
Michael, babe, put down the crack pipe. You've had enough. You have had enough. This speech, it's an explanation, a further explanation of a tweet that Michael Knowles put out where he said, quote, "I'm beginning to suspect that Joe Biden is a far more evil ruler than either Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping." He's, of course, referring to the authoritarian leaders of China and Russia there. This is just insane. He needs to touch grass. He needs to touch grass. It should go without saying that I'm a huge critic of President Biden, and I have basically spent the time since he was inaugurated pushing back on his policies, criticizing his conduct as president, and doing all sorts of things. But only somebody truly detached from reality or with very warped priorities, whose brain has been completely corroded by tribalism and the culture war, could genuinely believe that Joe Biden is more evil than Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin because he supports gay marriage or because he's pro-trans. And look, I've disagreed with some of his trans policies, but on the grand scheme of things, those issues, one, are fundamentally debatable, and really getting all of this bent out of shape about other people being able to get married is quite something. But two, they're just nowhere on the scale. Even if you viciously oppose everything LGBT, it's nowhere on the scale of the atrocities and evil that Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are committing, both on their own people and on other people. Russia's literally invading another country and committing war crimes right now. And Xi Jinping is actively genociding the Uyghurs, a religious minority. Yet because Biden is pro-gay marriage and supports trans activists, he's somehow more evil than them? I almost don't even know how to argue against that, because it just strikes me as so fundamentally absurd to claim that differences in opinion over new issues of gender or sexual orientation are even on par with literal acts of violence, mass killing, war crimes, and genocide. To say nothing of the fact that Joe Biden is not a ruler, he was elected, and the American people have the opportunity to get rid of him if they want. I'm not saying my opinion on that either way, I'm just saying he's democratically elected, whereas the other two were very much not. I don't know exactly what's going on here. I mean, this could simply be shock-jocking, attention-seeking by saying inflammatory things that he doesn't truly believe in order to get attention. And I know I'm playing into that a little bit, so I'm a guilty party here too. Or it could really be that Michael's put himself in such an echo chamber or has gone down such a intellectual doom loop of far-right insanity that he actually believes this. And I'm having a hard time deciding which one is worse. But all I'll say is this. I think Michael is an interesting guy and has had interesting things to say about some things in the past. But if you are so out of touch with reality that you genuinely think supporting gay marriage is on par with genocide and war crimes, it's hard to take anything you have to say seriously at all. And it actually undercuts any legitimate criticisms you might have of President Biden or the LGBT movement more broadly, because your mass hysteria and extremism is simply drowning out any actual points you might have. So, Michael, again, I implore you, put down the crack pipe.